Ebusunye mi no ase emo akwa aba enfambre channel yi so ebusuya enani de di kan ya wo hwe video a mesro so be share ama afoforo enya bi ahwe na afi wa like a commenting so ede ama me din di akire broni mesro so wo be subscribe na wa turn notification bell no oh ya upload video a wanya bi ahwe ebusuya ensem bi ekoso eni ofa Facebook TikTok YouTube abusuya chegu nkansah na mepese be kwakwe video no ye twa emu nchiremu na se ebenya emu enti ase ye pan se de be ye nyina ye bete ye ho ase ewo sansem a etwagu ewo social media no se busia enunti yakwa yenkwa videos ni bi enfamra.
So ini.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the indication that at the time that the application was made to withdraw the earlier call, the number in the chamber was over 90. But Mr. Speaker, I just want to use this opportunity to caution ourselves as we employ these tools that are allowed within our operations as members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this caution has become important because it does not only interrupt the work in the chamber, but it also interrupts committee work. Mr. Speaker, myself and colleagues have just been called out of committee meetings to come to the chamber to be counted. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, we have guests from state institutions who are waiting for us. What we were doing there, Mr. Speaker, is part of Parliament business. And it is unfortunate that we have had to make these guests wait for us so that we can just come here to show our face. That also interrupts Parliament business in some way. Mr. Speaker, I do not begrudge the minority for imitating, in some cases, what may have happened to them when they were in government. But they should do so responsibly, like the minority at the time did, without unnecessarily, embarrassing all of us. Because as we speak, those leaders of those state agencies will think that Parliament is not a serious place. They have had to wait all morning just so that members can come, into the chamber to be counted for business to be conducted. So, Mr. Speaker, my caution is that we should employ these, tools very, very judiciously.
Are you on a point of order?
So, Mr. Speaker, my caution is that we should employ these tools. We should employ these tools judiciously and use them in a way that we will not be ridiculing ourselves and also, by extension, be ridiculed by the public. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Honorable
Speaker.
Deputy Minority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm very surprised the angle at which the Member of Parliament for Tamale North is going. Mr. Speaker, he has used some words in this regard that is unparliamentary. When you say unnecessarily, when constitutional matters are raised, at the time the quorum was, you have been invited to look at the quorum of the chamber. Mr. Speaker, we are all aware that we did not satisfy under Article 102 of the Constitution.
Statement. After the presentation of business statement, the issue of the previous day's vote was corrected, that the decision was a rescission. Mr. Speaker, that must reflect in the vote, but they skipped that to page 8, where there is point 6, recognition of a school. So, Mr. Speaker, I want that to reflect. In respect of our 4 colleagues, there was a rescission. That correction was done. Mr. Speaker, having done that, Mr. Speaker, I want to claim the attention of colleagues on this important matter. Mr. Speaker, our colleague Al-Hassan Suhini, in his submission earlier, had used 2 phrases that the minority must not be seen to be acting irresponsible. And he also said quorum use unnecessary. Mr. Speaker, we can take it as he's saying so on a lighter note. But I want to remind my colleagues opposite now. Let them check it and let's check it. I won't lie. Sometimes when we raise the issue as if we are saying things from our own head. He used those two phrases. Check it now, Mr. Speaker. I wrote it down. But I'm saying that we absorb some of these jokes. We, our side, we absorb some of these strong words. But if it were to come from this side to the other side, you would have heard, hey, why are you calling irresponsible? They should be responsible. You can check it. So I am reminding him.
Let me find out from Honorable Soyini.
If he says he didn't use it, let's call for the record.
Did you use the word irresponsible minority?
Mr. Speaker, I remember using 3 words. I described the use as unnecessary. I encouraged that it should be used responsibly. And I also said it should be used judiciously. I said it should be used responsibly and it should be used judiciously. Mr. Speaker, if the minority leader decides to look at the opposite of responsible, that is not my choice. That is his interpretation. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Honorable members, order. Honorable members, order. Honorable members, in the unlikely event, far-flung event.
Now, we were all over the news over the weekend that Friday's adjournment was as a result of the fact that we didn't have quorum to transact business. But Mr. Speaker, if you compare that information plus the record of the votes and proceedings that we are correcting now, we had as many as 192 members of parliament present on Friday. Speaker, if you recall, I made a point in the course of the submission that even the ad hoc committee was sitting and that other members too were at committee meetings. So if we could be given the opportunity to get members to attend to business on the floor. But that didn't happen. So being a house of record, tomorrow the record for Friday will show that instead of the news out there that we adjourned because we didn't have the numbers, we actually had 192 members present. Just for your guide, for you to guide the House. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Table of it, take note. Honorable Deputy Whip.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to assist my colleague, the Majority Whip, that he cannot assume that we have about 192 marked present on the vote and proceedings and assume that that was the number present. You cited Order 64.3, and Order 64.3 is clear that quorum can be raised at any time. And Mr. Speaker, for Hansard, when you were adjourning, you said the table of it had counted, and we were 71. You made that announcement, and for that matter, you are adjourning the House. So it must not be in our record because of his assumption that we had 92 people marked present when you had directed clerk to count, and we were 71 at the time that we were adjourning. So we adjourned because we did not have the numbers. We adjourned because your super 193 vanished, and you were just about 1830. So that is what is on our record, and that was your direction, and that was exactly what you said, Mr. Speaker. So he needs to be guided. Mr. Speaker, also to advise him that you've just been a majority whip about 3 weeks now. So when I'm talking, I'm your senior in leadership. Sit down, let me finish. I've been here over 4 years, so you sit down on the front bench. He should sit down. I've been your leader over 4 years now. You've just been 3 weeks. So you should be able to learn and be guided on the procedure we use. But you cannot assume that, even Mr. Speaker, we have not even approved this. We have not approved this. And he cannot even refer to it because it has not been adopted. The vote and proceedings on Friday has not even been adopted. He said,
Honorable Deputy,
it has not been adopted. So
are you on point of order? Please.
Speaker, first of all,
Honorable Deputy Whip, you are on your feet.
Speaker, first of all, my brother Habib failed to listen to me carefully. My prayer to you. My prayer to you was to seek your guidance in respect of the two records, because this is also a matter for the record of the House. That on Friday, 192 members of Parliament attended upon the House. That is the record. Now he makes the point that at the time he raised the issue of quorum, we were 71. Yes, but my prayer at the time was that because two committees were sitting, members were attending upon those committees. So we're praying for those members to be permitted to attend. So carefully, you should have listened to me praying you that we needed a guide on this matter. Then number two, I am senior to you in this House. So with all due respect,
we move to column 70.
Said you put dear anchor and cheer to Amanam fan plan to Uncle Sierra and now come for a bedin nahine ever when several leave you decent comment or comment section on Efamamia. Afenyo to share a mouth for any be and share. I was just saying the one it to you and 70 day a big course so nkansah. And we say who pay videos in the actual social media and so papa dia and near the Punch TV and it near subscribe button so if I'm a minute and all you upload the video when you be a shame de actually bruni me that's it.